Hey, welcome to The Book and His Boss. I'm Pat Caputo, sports columnist for the Oakland Press. This is my boss, sports editor Jeff Kuehn, and we're here every week at the oaklandpress.com and at micentral.com. And Jeff, got to tell you, Lions, I put it on my blog. You can see it at the oaklandpress.com or at micentral.com, but the headline is, do you believe in miracles? Lions made a great trade. And it was a great trade, wasn't it? Roy Williams, I can't believe how much they got from Dallas for him.
I can't believe what Jerry Jones was thinking to give the Lions all of that, unless he was thinking the same thing that many people around here are thinking, and that's who's going to make those picks. And there's a lot of pressure to make some good picks because the Lions have so many holes to fill. So it's a great trade, and the Lions have the opportunity to come out with maybe 3 starters out of this. What do you think?
Well, if they're going to have 5 picks maybe within the first 100 of the draft next year, if they could maybe even trade down possibly. There's all kinds of different things. Just getting a lot of draft picks, and that's how you turn your team around. And the NFL teams are built through the draft. They're not built through free agency or any other way. So, and I thought it would have been fine if they just got a 3rd rounder for him, just get something for him. So I thought it was terrific. Obviously, the Lions benefited from the fact that Dallas lost a couple games and the Pac-Man Jones thing came down and Tony Romo got hurt, so they had to do something. And it was good for the Lions. And I wonder if this will give Martin Mayhew a foot in the door to be their general manager.
Sure. It might, but what are you hearing there? Do you know much about Martin Mayhew?
Well, I've heard bad things about him in a certain way, that he's not good at people's skills. He's tied to Millen. That the same problems there. He's kind of a know-it-all type of guy, but maybe he's learned something as he's worked there from down through the years. Maybe he's softened up a little bit of that and has learned how to work with people. Certainly, this was a feather in his cap if indeed he's the one that negotiated. So yeah, I'd say give him a chance. Not necessarily hire him, but I think this makes him more of a possibility. There was no possibility before this trade that he would. And you know, Jeff, I said if Martin Mayhew wanted to make a mark and Tom Lewan, that this is how they would do it. A trade gets a future. And now the Lion fans have something to be happy about, a future.
But let's show people how much I know about the Lions, because we go back to the beginning of the year and the snow job of me saying 9-7.
I said 8-8.
You were 8-8.
So I was just almost as dumb.
They're 0-5. They're about ready to go on a big winning streak here. Houston this week, right?
I think their chances of going 0-16 are greater now. But that's embarrassing, but who cares? At least Lions fans have something that they can look at the future and say the possibility. They had nothing before this. Everything was just bad. So now I think the next thing is I thought Orlovsky wasn't very good. Maybe try Drew Stanton quarterback here soon.
I agree. It's time to see the rest of the year's experimenting, see who we can keep for next year, and exactly that. Orlovsky or Stanton, which guy you want to keep around. Exactly said. Well said.
Now, Michigan State is winning. They're in the top 20. They play a huge game at Ohio State. Heading up there on Saturday. Probably
it's at Michigan State. It's at home.
Yeah, I know. We're both heading up there.
Did you get the hot dogs and all that going?
Yeah, actually, thanks. I got 2 hot dogs this week for the. But the thing about it is, Mark D'Antonio inherits John L. Smith's players, goes to a completely different system and starts winning with 1- and 2-star recruits. Rich Rodriguez comes into Michigan, has 3- and 4- and 5-star recruits, and switches systems, and he's awful. And yet it seems like people are willing to give Rich Rodriguez all this slack and, oh, he's going to do this and that. I think that he's been a train wreck so far. Let's call it what it is. And D'Antonio's been terrific. And the fact that those 2 coaches were hired has changed the dynamics of this thing completely, in 2 years.
I have nothing else to say here other than the M that you see right here stands for middle of the road, just as the S stands for straight down the middle there. I mean, I think this is great to see, Pat. Again, there's room in the state for 2 very good football teams. You know, I have problems with the way Michigan hired Rodriguez in the first place, buying out a $4 million contract, meeting with the guy in the middle of the night, a school that bases itself all on integrity and so forth. They're getting now what they paid for, you know, and and this is a Michigan guy, kind of, saying all that. But I
didn't
just
know
think
Franklin College in Indiana, his
Yeah,
nickname was the Wolverines.
it had the Michigan helmets, mind you. Which is why I went there, right? No.
They did?
They did, absolutely, they did.
weird.
But anyway,
So does Clarkston High School.
getting back to the point here, what I like to see of Michigan State is the way that D'Antonio's done it. It's the right way. It's propping the kids up from day one, telling them I don't care what the culture has been here before. This is different. And building it with positive influence, and maybe Rodriguez can do that at Michigan, but it's going to take some time.
Well, yeah, so far not so good for him.
Absolutely.
So far so good for D'Antonio. Right. If they win this week, it'll be gravy. Also, though, if Michigan beats Michigan State the following week, then all of a sudden it goes back to ground zero and everything's normal again. So there's still a lot of football for Michigan to make up here. And certainly a lot for Michigan State to do before people can start saying it. But right now, as we speak, the dynamics of those coaching changes seem to really turn both programs in opposite directions, for the better for Michigan State and for the far worse for Michigan.
Getting to the game at hand this Saturday, though, I'll tell you what, Michigan State matches up very well with Ohio State, and it's in their backyard. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Michigan State beat Ohio State this week. And then it becomes Michigan State playing with its own mind, getting over that Michigan thing and just going in there and doing what they have to do.
Well, I think this will be a tough game for State to win, but I thought that they would lose possibly at Northwestern last week, and they just keep winning and finding ways to win. So maybe this is a kind of a special season for them. So, but anyway, it'll be fun. Don't forget to check out our coverage in the Oakland Press in Sunday's edition. I'll have a column in there about the game. Dana Garuder will have a game story. You can always go to the oaklandpress.com and see all the different things we have on the internet. Paula Pash's college football blog among them. I write a blog. Jim Hawkins writes a Tigers blog. And we have Dana Garuder's Piston blog, Bruce McLeod Red Wings. Check it all out, and don't forget miprepzone.com for the latest on what's going on in high school football as it heats up. Big game this weekend. Rochester Adams playing Lake Orion as that starts to head into the playoffs. So until next week, we'll see you. He's Jeff Kuehn, the sports editor. I'm Pat Caputo, the sports columnist. We'll see you next week here at the oaklandpress.com.